I'm Shruti Deshpande from APMG International, and I'm here today at Tenet to understand more about the maturity assessment. I will be talking to several members of the team along with David Roberts of CUPE International, who has been working with them as an independent consultant on the maturity improvement program.
We were very excited to get the opportunity to work with Tenet. We were invited to meet the company in Germany. They were running a number of projects, some very successful, some less so, and they were looking to raise all of their projects to a higher standard. From our initial meeting at Tenet in Lehrten, Germany, we agreed an approach which would be to undertake an initial audit of 2 representative projects with the actual project managers and team leaders who are working directly on them, capturing their views about what was going well and not, and then relate that to the tools, the processes, the techniques that were being used to ensure that all of these elements were coming together in the way that was intended by senior management.
Germany has decided to have its offshore wind farms in the North Sea quite remote from shore in order not to disturb the touristic business there. And also for nature protective reasons, HVDC technology enables us to use much less cables to cross the Wadden area compared with conventional AC technology.
Yes, the Helwan 2 project is a project where we connect offshore wind farms to the grid onshore. What's new about the technology is that it's all about DC energy, which is actually the new part. In the German area, they built the offshore wind farms quite far out of the coastline, and therefore you need this specific high voltage technology not to have too many losses in the system. That's rather new, and no one in the world has done that before. So in the German area, that's the new part, and it's also very much the challenging part in it.
I came in right after the first audits that were being held. There were 2 offshore projects that were audited, and after the results were known, it was recognized that there's a lot of work to be done. We need to start a project to improve the organization.
We agreed that we would not aim for level 4 initially, but go to level 3, and that became the name of a tailored initiative which would ensure that our improvements made a difference to delivery of their projects.
We hired a change manager, and we did some workshops, and there we've defined what could be improved and what's possible and what's impossible, and then we implemented those in the existing project management handbook and the existing procedures.
You know, we had a series of workshops in a number of areas such as benefits management, stakeholder management, resource management, capacity planning, forecasting. You know, I could go through a list. The key thing was to recognize that within the company, they had some very good practice that was already underway, but it was not everywhere.
The way it was then introduced in the organization, it was received very well. People immediately, our employees, recognized the value of get a confirmation of what we are doing well and what we can do even better in the future. And we managed then to implement improvements, and that was a great satisfaction to the people, ultimately also securing their buy-in.
Our job is to show them that there are alternative ways of working towards best practice, give them a sense of renewed energy, that by making changes, some small changes, they can really make a difference to the final result. This is very heartening when it comes to undertaking a second audit, and performance improvement is visible to everyone.
We tried to involve them by choosing the best practices from what was around already. So we did not come in with totally new concepts that had to be learned. We tried to get the best pick and implement that in the rest of the organization.
Well, it was very helpful to work with an external consultant by having seen also in other industries how such projects and such level of projects are managed, and it gives us the impression of the best practices which are basically around, which we could make use of.
Ultimately, as we progressed through the maturity improvement program, we came to a view that the company would achieve the next level, and at that point the PMO decided that it would wish a second audit to be conducted?
Well, I'm very proud that after the first audit we started to get organizing ourselves better, which finally resulted in a level 3, close to 4 of maturity. And yeah, that was very good to reach that during the course of a project which was already running. So we have been able to implement certain elements which have been found as areas for improvement. And what's also very good is that we have been able to share our lessons learned with other projects which are having now a very quick start with having good project control.
Although it was maybe too late for all the improvements to be implemented in the running projects, we were able to implement them in the newly started projects. So the new started projects, they got all the benefits and they made a much quicker, better quality start.
And we have also achieved alignment with some other organization departments, not only so in the projects, but also in the organization. So that means that all projects have the same standard processes and they can be repeated.
The independent auditor brings the value of a reference to the benchmark market, because they do this kind of maturity all the time, so they are not biased by knowing us from the past or doing us a favor. So this was the special value of choosing an external consultant here for the maturity assessment.
Well, I was very happy with the attitude of the people and how enthusiastic they were about the audit and the way they act, and were open for improvements and working with the team. And I think we achieved a lot with internal people to get the achievements and improvements done. So that was very nice to see that everybody was very professional and helpful in this.
The best improvements we have seen is that within the eyes of TenneT we have become more aware about the maturity level of our projects and need to get organized on certain elements. You know, you have to understand we have started in a stage where we had to start anyway with these projects rather unorganized. So now we really felt highlighted where do we need to give attention on in order to get better organized and better control on these projects. And that was the very helpful, the helpful part.
The organization has learned to focus on the improvements, and they know now they have the ability also to go another step, which is always good if you feel rewarded for something what you have done.
It has been really interesting to see the work that TenneT have done together with CUPE, also how they have dealt with the challenges across the German and the Dutch region. The maturity assessment and index have clearly brought immense benefit to the organisation and has given the team a positive outlook for the future.